Prabhupada said that in this material world, that relationships that we use to anchor ourselves in the material nature, like husband, wife, sister, brother, friend, are just dim reflections of the transcendental. You grieve when you can't be with your friend, huh? Why tears? It's not lamentation. It's just wishing so hard that you could be here. It's pretty selfish.
No. More people.
Prabhupada always said that it's the desire of every human or every living entity to have peace and be satisfied. That's what we want. That's our nature. And whenever Prabhupada was in my presence, I always felt that to the ultimate. It's the only time. So his friendliness. And he wasn't just a friend to me, he was a friend to everyone. And everyone had relationships with him who met him in some way or other. And I'm hoping, I'm praying that we have an eternal relationship, and that we're together again. It's my only reason for existence. But also Prabhupada said that friendship is two-sided. That the friend reciprocates. We were talking once about Queen Elizabeth. David Wynne had recently done her bust, and he had given her a copy of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. I asked him if he could, while she's sitting there for hours, and while he's designing her bust, just slide her this copy of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and let her thumb through it. And she did one day while he was sitting there for hours. She looked at Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and David Wynne relayed this, that she amusedly at one point looked up with a bemused look on her face, faraway look, and said, Krishna is Krishna, the friend of everyone, and Krishna is responsible for everything and everyone, something like that. She said, wouldn't that be wonderful? Krishna, the friend of everyone. And Prabhupada, when he heard the story, he said, yes, he said, Krishna is the friend of everyone, but there must be reciprocation. That is what she's missing. You can't just become Krishna's friend. I mean, you're his friend, but you can't become his friend without reciprocation. So Prabhupada was friends with everyone, even those who didn't reciprocate. Just because they exist, they were his friends. But with certain people who served Krishna, he was especially friends. And his expertise, I would say always, I go back to that, how expert he was at everything. And there's another one, faultless. Prabhupada had no errors in any of his, either his behavior or his actions, his words, anything. There was never any mistake. I mean, even so-called superficial mistakes, like, oh, I left my glasses behind or something like that. There would always be a very good reason why that was done. And I saw a lot of years of that in order to make that That's not a light observation. That's after long study of every movement Prabhupada made, I could never find any mistake. So when you find such a person, how can you let them go? Especially when Prabhupada says that you can become like me too. He always held that out for us. You do this, this, and this, this, and this, and you can become a self-realized soul, a pure devotee of Krishna. Otherwise, what hope is there? What hope have we got? I mean, if we're just idolizing a person who's reached that without any hope of attaining it ourselves, then what's the point? And Prabhupada always encouraged us to come up the trail a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. And he always said, and made us feel better whenever we fell down, that whatever you have done up to date will be counted on your credit side of your ledger. That's going to be a long time yet, boy, for me. Wow. Prabhupada was so, who knows how it happened, how many lifetimes or whatever he went through to achieve the birth he did, and in a devotee family where he never had any, although he does say that he had many temptations too. He was from an aristocratic family, so he had access to all the then new things that were coming out, like movies and electricity and all the gadgetry and the intoxication and stuff that was going on. But there was something that prevented him from doing any of that. So he never had a thought that wasn't Krishna conscious, hardly from his birth. How are we to wipe away so much trash that we've accumulated? Only by his mercy.
Krishna Chaitanya